Good evening, welcome. It is Friday the 6th of August. Barber's Arms, episode 64. We've got a corker coming up for you tonight. Me and Gazza's going to take you through the news test, all in conjunction with the BBA and Wahl. And then we've got our first two guests on at around about 8:15. Two big hitters coming from the industry, and we'll talk a little bit about their roles. But we have David Drew, who's probably more famous with his business courses and his action with the fellowship. And then we have Ben Dellicompagni, who is coming from the Francesco group and also the new chair of the Hairdressing and Barber Council. So we're looking forward to having those two on. And then around about 8:50, we have Jonathan Andrews, who's the International Creative Director for Fudge and a session stylist. He's going to tell us all about the TV work that he's doing and all the famous people he does, and about his recent top knot that he's starting to wear across the industry, which is out of order, Gaz. That's all coming up tonight. Me and Gaz will take you up to closing time, but without further ado, please welcome my co-host in his Barber's Arms uniform, the one and only Mr. Gary Machin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. Wow, welcome again to the Barber's Arms, episode 64. I can't believe it. Last week we had huge numbers again. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching around the world. Thank you very much to Mr. Joff from Savills and Reese all the way from Hintz's in the UK. So these guys were great role models, great individual people who came on, but we have got some fantastic guests today. Our guests are today Mr. David Drew and Ben Dellicompagni, which I'm really looking forward to meeting because I know them very well, and Jonathan Andrews, which is an absolute pleasure to have on. So what have you been up to this week, mate?
Busy week. Still another virtual seminar for Sheila at the Freelance Hair Association. There was about 52 there. Still, guys, you know, I was saying last week about, I think we mentioned it to Reese and people when they've been on. And I've mentioned it to you. How do you cope with your day-to-day columns and still doing virtual stuff? Obviously, for me, virtual stuff is still one of the things where it gets you out or gets you in front of people. So, yeah, that was good. Bit of preparation for Salon International. We've got Boots Conference coming up. It feels normal. It's getting to feel some normality, especially on my side. You know, we've got things backing up. We've got some big product launches coming in September and October, so lots of prep for that. So busy week, being at the HQ as well. So yeah, a nice busy week. What about yourself?
Yeah, really busy. Busy on the training side. I'm working in Lincoln on Monday. Big shout out to the guys there I'm going to be working with. We've got it's CPD time, you know, type of year, isn't it now? This is where it is. We start doing a lot of work with other training providers. Our academy closes down for 3 weeks, I think it is, 3.5 weeks. You know, people are on holiday, aren't we? People are on holiday, staff need to be in. But if anybody's noticed, we aren't wearing a uniform. We're wearing our new Barber's Arms t-shirts. Can everybody see those there? So we're not the men in black tonight. We are the men in blue, with our main sponsors on there as well, showing the guns
on there. I think it's now, I think we'll have to speak to production, but I think each guest that comes on now should be given, I'm going to say, like a fucking Jim will fix it badge, but not. We should give them a t-shirt to say you've been on Barber's Arms. So these t-shirts, everybody's running. So everybody who's been messaging as well when we first showed these a couple of weeks ago, another couple of weeks we'll have some in, and if you ask nicely, we shall give you a Barber's Arms t-shirt, and hopefully coming up after, I mean, what, we're 36 shows away from 100. I'm sure that we should do something where everybody's got the Barber's Arms t-shirts on, and we should have a big celebration on that. Guys, again, you said it just there at the top of the note, 64 episodes, and somebody said to me that week, I think I watch your live views, and sometimes it's 15, 20 people, and then you'll announce that you had, like last week, there were nearly 50,000 views. I think it's important to say everybody watches it at different times. It's something now that everybody looks forward to. I'm saying everybody looks forward to it, but I think it's just one of those things. They'll look at the guest list and they'll say, yeah, I need to watch that one, definitely. So I think everybody watches it at different times, but it's certainly still gathering momentum. And we thank everybody who watches, and especially our homies who've been there right from day one. And you know you are, and I'm sure we'll give you a little shout out tonight. But guys, coming on to tonight's guest, I think that it's going to be a beer in the arms, but I think there's some important stuff to discuss about the industry from a business point of view, from a standards point of view, from the council, and what these two guys are doing retrospectively with the fellowship and the Hairdressing and Barbering Council. I think that's going to be good tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, really looking forward. Know these two guys really well. Don't know Jonathan as well, but from what they bring to the industry, the knowledge, the experience, expertise, unbelievable. The jobs that they've had, the positions they've held, and also in their own right, they've got very successful businesses in their own right. Obviously, Ben, CEO of Francesco Group, and David Drew, who's had numerous positions with the hair charity, but he is, a bona fide, qualified business coach as well, with a great business, successful business. So I think a lot of things that we've gone through in the last 12, 18 months, I don't know if everybody caught it with Respect for Hair. David Drew was on there. I caught it the other week. It was really good about social media. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. It's going to be tough fitting it all in, to be honest. But just on that note, we've got to start with a drink. And I know you struggled to get hold of yours tonight, but I'm going to do them anyway because I've spent ages writing my notes up. We've got a stout night tonight. I know you've managed to get a couple, I think, but we're going with stout. And I don't know if anybody knows what stout is or realizes where the stout comes from or what the name is or whatever.
It's brown.
It's brown.
Stout. Even the prop.
So from our point of view tonight, we've got that tonight as a special one. This is our starter. This is Vocational Brewery. We aren't starting with a really well-known one. It's a Brew York. It's called Sweet Temptation. You'd have loved this. I'm going to make sure to send you this because you'd have liked it. Stout, usually, it can be called a porter. It can be called a stout. Started off in the 1800s. It always was one of the thickest and strongest beers of the day. So when we talk about stout generically, it's roasted malt and roasted barley as well. So, and it tends to be a little bit thicker than normal beer and a lot darker. So good health, everybody. This is got, you'll love this because you really like this bit. Chocolate and caramel flavorings and with a hint of coffee. So this is Hebden Bridge, 6.6, quite a stiff drink if you're going to drink a lot of it. So it's 6.6%, and it's tally ho. Good health,
it looks
everybody.
Disgusting, I have to say. The only stouts I can remember as a kid were like little cans of Machin stout, the little black and white cans.
What?
Nice. Would you go out with that though?
In Nessa's point of view, have you ever watched Nessa? In comes from Wales.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lovely, to be honest.
It looked toxic, and it's still 6.6. So I think for a stout, that's quite strong. But it's like a starter and a main course in 2 gulps. Well done. Any more interesting facts in this week in general, guys? I hope that's to tell everybody.
Well, generally speaking, I mean, it is holiday time, I think, around the country. Officially, this time of year, I'm usually away this time of year. This is holiday time for me. We usually go end of July and into August because this is our quietest time of the year. But we haven't felt that this time at all. We've been very busy. I know a lot of people are off with the children, and it's generally the holiday time. I don't know if it's the staycation kind of thing where people have decided to stay in this country. They haven't had that influx of people going out of the country. I'm not quite sure what it is, but at the moment with the business, it's you can't judge what's happening like I said, usually this time of the year we'd be quiet, and we're far from it. We're really, really busy. So
people's holding on, aren't they, as well? There's like a big insecurity. I think whilst we're getting back to normal, I think a lot of people's taking that. But you speak to builders, you speak to people who are doing gardens, you speak to conservatory people, you speak to people who own mobile homes and stuff, and that trade in the UK and hotels in here in the UK are doing well. So hopefully the money's going back into this country. So yeah, should be good. If you want to follow us on our Instas, Simon Shaw Wahl, Gaz is the British Barber, and we have Barbers_arms. That is our Instagram accounts. The website is thebarbersarms.co.uk. And if you want to email us for one of Gaz's t-shirts, extra medium, then you can. Yeah, I'll just wait until you took a big gulp. The email address is barbersarms@thebritishbarbers.com. So those are our social media. So coming up as well after Ben and David, we've got Jonathan Andrews. I was on a photo shoot a couple of weeks ago with Jonathan on the Fellowship Project Men, and I've got some questions for him tonight, because I think a lot of barbers and hairdressers out there, they'll hear people say the session stylists, and they'll like, Jonathan was saying, we were trying to book some dates, and he said, I can't do that because I'm on the set of A League of Their Own, the game show with Jamie Redknapp, and used to be James Corden. I think is it Ollie Willoughby now that hosts that? I'm not sure. Anyway, he does that, and it'd be nice to ask him a few questions about what do you do on those kind of nights, just for that barbers and hairdressers don't want to get into that kind of work. What do you do when you're working on a set of an ongoing TV program, and what you do when people like phone you up and you go into their houses or hotels to cut their hair in that kind of balloon of the celebrity styling. So that should be good tonight as well, to hear Jonathan's side of that as well, see what he says about that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is a side of the business, you know, when we have careers talks in schools and places like that, and we get a lot of people that are quite derogatory on our trade, you know, oh, it's cutting a little bit of hair, or we're doing this, or you'll never make any money at that. Just look at these people, the caliber of people that we have on the show, what they achieve and where they go, where it can take you around the world, and even, you know, taking you into your media and TV. So it's a really good platform to actually push our industry in a positive light for once as well, isn't it? You know, so people can actually see what it is.
And talking of positivities, it's all coming up now. Whenever I do my columns or anything, for me, August is a kind of a reset button, because it's normally been a busy start to the year. Like you just said, guys, a lot of people go on holiday, training's a little bit quieter. But from September, then I call that the business end of this year. So we have lots of conferences, we have lots of product launches, we have Salon International, then you go into like the British Hairdresser Awards and the Fellowship Awards as well. So that's all coming up this end of the year. But you will see, guys, on the Barber's Arms in the next couple of weeks, you'll start seeing droplets coming in for the #1 barber competition, which is the Wahl British Barber of the Year and Wahl British Barbershop of the Year. Those will be launched here on Barber's Arms in the next few weeks. And if you're listening and you've got to get your entries ready, you can start to enter by the last weekend in August, beginning of September. So that is very exciting. And again, it's come around quick. It doesn't seem 2 minutes since we did it virtually. But here we are, when we've got a chance, if everything goes safe and well, we're going to be back live doing that. I can't wait, guys.
Well, you know, I think we've had a lot of positive news in this last week as well, about gigs, open air gigs, and you know, getting back to crowds. Government are just now sponsoring an insurance company. I think they've shoved 750 million in there to stop things being actually cancelled. I think Reading's going ahead now as well, you know, talking about you know, outside broadcasts, all sorts of manner of things, and now are having a little positive spin on. And certain countries now are being opened up. I noticed your favourite, Dubai, just been opened up. That's gone on the amber list, hasn't it? So, you know, there is places now that we supposedly we can travel to. I think it's a little bit early for us yet, but you know, it's not the thing of travelling. It's how they change when we're there. I noticed a couple had just gone to Mexico to get married, and they had to come back after 2 days because Mexico was amber and it's just gone to red. So they've had to come straight back. I mean, you can't. you know, you can't plan for these things, can you? So, you know, you just got to be careful, aren't we? You know,
I think for me, it's kind of this year you know, it's kind of just UK stuff. Just concentrate on that. Let's get us. I still use this old saying quite a lot, and you hear it every time you fly. I know you turn right on an aeroplane, but when I turn left, when I get on plane, you'll always hear that, you know, put your own gas mask on first before you can help others. The UK need to do that. We need to get ourselves reset, look after what's happening here, and then we can get everybody else and we can start traveling. It's funny, I was talking to somebody from Wahl today. I was doing some an evaluation from, and it was like, oh, in the old days when I used to travel abroad quite a lot, because it's 2 years since I've traveled. It was 2 years in January before, if my trip to America goes ahead, it'd be 2 years. So, you know, it's been a long time. Talking to 2 years, I don't know if these guys who are just pulling to the car park do any traveling, but we'll find out if they've got any holidays booked. I do know a little Dicky Bird told me that David's had quite a bad injury. I think he's twisted or broken his ankle. So we'll be able to find out. That's a last minute news bulletin that comes in that David might be laid up with a bad ankle. So we'll find that out. So without further ado, we're going to steam across and fetch our first two guests in on Barber's Arms. I think they're just pulling in and coming through the doors. How's your stout going down? All right.
Oh, beautiful. I've got a number two coming now in a minute. We'll do that in about 20 minutes. We'll do this one. The next one's only 5%, so should be all right on that one. So
you've been a bit quiet this week as well, Gary. I don't think there's not much that's come out this week. So I'm hoping that tonight you'll have a flurry of questions for our first two guests. Without further ado, on Barber's Arms, episode 64, 9 million views since we started this show. We've got two fantastic guests on, and so let's introduce them, and then we can get into the interviews. First of all, we've got David Drew, who you will all know as a stalwart of the fellowship and a fantastic business coach. David joining us in the arms. And then we have Ben Dellicompagni from the Francesco group and the new chair of the Hairdressing and Barbering Council. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
How you doing? Simon, where's your drink? Where's your stout?
Well, do you know what? I couldn't do the stout, David. I have to fanny out of these some weeks because he's such a, he really puts it on me sometimes. He drops it on my toes and I struggle with it. I'm a lightweight and I'm on codeine for a bad neck. So codeine and stout at 11% would really make sure your interviews tonight would be legendary, and I'm going to keep it nice and normal.
I would love to see that.
I'd love to see that too. I'm on painkillers myself. I've got a broken ankle at the moment, so I'm probably going to go a bit gaga. I have to admit, I've had a few. I've started earlier, but this is about my fourth.
well, do you know what, fellas? It's an absolute pleasure to have you both on here. I know we know each other quite well, and we've done a lot of things together, but it's great of you, and thank you so much for giving your time. I will admit, from Ben's point of view, he said, "Can I go on first? Because I do like a drink on a Friday, and I might be complimentous." So that made me feel even better. So great to have you, Ben. Thanks for putting us first from your Friday night session.
Gary, Simon, thank you for having me in the Barber's Arms. I feel I've been nervous about this all day, guys. Hey, I've got my pub clothes on. I've had my hair cut today.
But you've not got your Barber's Arms t-shirts. We'll have to finish these Barber's Arms t-shirts.
We'll have to have a couple of those sent down, Simon. It's a good boozer. I'll give you that. It's a very good boozer. It's probably one of the best boozers I've ever been in.
Well, David, apparently we googled it earlier. It's the most visited boozer in lockdown.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right,
so,
let's get on to the show, and just quickly. And we do this with every guest that we have on here. All our guests, we have over 100,000 views most weeks. As Simon said, we're up to 9 million now. But it does go around the world. So, just in 2 minutes, can you give us a brief bio of who you are, what you do, and where you are at the moment? So, we'll start with Ben, and then we'll travel over to down south for David.
Down south.
Can you give us a quick bio then, fellas?
Yeah. I'm Ben Dellicompagni. As you can guess, my heritage is half English, half Italian. My dad is Francesco Dellicompagni, who started the Francesco Group 52 years ago. And he actually asked me tonight, he said, ask the lads what they think to this haircut, because he did me this morning in the barn. And he said he's had enough of this, ladies malarkey. He wants to become a barber. So he said, Gary, could he get an apprenticeship at your setup? Would you give my dad an apprenticeship? So we've been at it 50 years. We're a family business, and to cut to the chase, I got involved with the Hairdressing Council because as a family business, we've always believed that we're better by being together, by investing in standards, in training. And that's what's led me into the Hairdressing Council, is that belief that as the whole industry, hairdressers, barbers, we need to unite, and I'm in a place where I want to do my very best to try and bring us all together, the whole industry, because I truly believe we're better together. We stand stronger together. What's the old saying? Stand strong together. United we stand, divided we fall, Gary and Simon. So I've been very fortunate to be able to use Francesco Group as a springboard to try now to do my very best for our wonderful industry.
Lovely. David.
Thank you, guys. How do you follow that? So, David Drew, I'm a hairdresser through and through, 4 decades in. Started in this career as a Saturday boy in 1973 and left school in 74 and did an apprenticeship with the greatest name in British hairdressing, Sassoon. Left Sassoons, went to another company, which sadly doesn't exist anymore, a company called Jingles International. And I became their youngest manager at the tender age of 20. And boy, did I know nothing about management. So here I am 4 decades later, past chairman of the Fellowship of British Hairdressing, as Simon alluded to, getting in with the creative side of our industry, past president of the Hair and Beauty charity, giving back to those less fortunate than all of us here on the screen right now. And I'm now very proud to be working with Ben as the vice chair of the Hair and Barber Council. And like Ben, I want to lead this industry together, one voice, and do the best for this industry. And what do I do when I'm not doing that stuff? I'm a hair salon business expert. So I'm a performance coach, and I help hair salons. I'm very much, and this is not anything against freelancers or people who don't work in a salon, but I'm very much behind bricks and mortar businesses and helping them survive and succeed more, because that's our heritage, I believe. And I'm very proud of hairdressing and barbering on the British High Street. And I think we are the leading light of the High Street right now. So there you go.
Perfect. Well, guys, if you've watched any of Barber's Arms, we're going to go through some not too serious questions, but there'll be career questions to both of you. With you both being on, when I ask the question, it'll be the same question to both of you, just from a time point of view. And then we'll finish off with a little bit of fun to finish off and find out a little bit more about you two for our viewers. But first question, I will come to you, David, and then same question to you, Ben. Looking at it at the minute, we're now post-COVID or post-ish COVID. There's been lots of casualties, lots of high street casualties. People come on this show and they're very honest about how it's affected their business. We had Geoff Davison from a fantastic business in Sheffield, Savills, gone from 15 barbers and he's in 5 barbers at the minute. He's got 5 barbers at the minute. But what is your biggest challenges that you see at the moment coming out of this for hair salons and barbershops? What is the biggest challenges that you see at the moment? And do you either have any little nuggets, gems to give them a bit of inspiration or a bit of guidance in this? First to you, David.
Okay, well, it's, as you know, it's tough out there. So I'm not going to speak the obvious. I think the biggest issues in our industry right now, funnily enough, is the digital world and social media and how it affects our business. And I think you've got to be very savvy today to be successful. And if you don't control the social media side of your business, it will control you. And what I mean that is, I'm hearing of, I'm going to use the word skullduggery. I'm hearing of social media being used to attack businesses by competitors. They either find out who your followers are, if they're your staff, they try and pinch your staff from you, or they find and try and pinch your clients from you. So social media has become a new phenomenon, which I don't think a lot of people have got their heads around yet. And I think that's a big issue right now. And then all the other issues that I'm sure we'll talk about and get to that have been around for a long time, but have been accelerated by this pandemic. Okay.
And Ben?
My immediate reaction is, I refer to what you said about your colleague who's lost staff. We've all lost staff. You know, Francesco Group is a franchise network of salons, and we've had a lot of staff who have taken a long look through COVID at their life choices, and they've made choices to not be in the bricks and mortar salon, whether they've gone freelance or to totally change of career, whatever they've done. It seems that COVID has created a lot of people to move away from where they did traditionally. That's the downside right now. Have I got a gem? We've got to work harder than ever to create the right workspaces to retain our staff. And there's no magic bullet to that. That is working, understanding our people, understanding every individual to work hard to retain them. And we've got strong winds working against us for sure. As David says, he got a job as a manager at the age of 20. My advice is we've got to work so hard at being the very best managers, man managers we can be. And that's how maybe we can counter these winds that are pulling our staff away. And that's our biggest challenge. It's people.
You think all of us from our era, I mean, I think barring you, Ben, Gary and David are a lot older than me, but the era that we grew up, there wasn't social media, there weren't mobile phones, it was good hairdressing training, good barbering training, but excellent man management. And I think what's happened is, you've just touched on it, David, there. So for both of you have really geared your answers towards salon ownership and management there. But it is kind of the protection. But I want to see people have that old-fashioned one-to-ones with the staff. Not just, we've got all these fantastic computers. I'm sure you, David, as a business coach, they're fantastic to have in, and they've been around for a long time, where you can see your time management, how much but it's that old-fashioned, where can we go? You've done, or that little pat on the back. You know, we'll hear a lot about, you know, for us in the days it used to be, we've got a bad backache or a bad head. Now we have a lot of mental issues that were never around when we never heard of it. It's like the ACL. We never heard of a cruciate ligament injury at football. But my point, I think, with both what you've just said there, and the schools that you've come from, is that we need to fetch back that man management. We need to say, when somebody's done something good, take that time out and say, come here, I want you. Top draw. Absolutely fantastic. Something I always do, even with my team now, all across the globe. Tell them when they've done something good.
You hit the nail on the head. Without our people, our businesses are worth nothing. So the most important asset in our brands is our people. But when I was alluding to social media is affecting the health of our people. You know, social media platforms, and listen, I'm not criticizing social media. I think it on balance, it's done a lot. It's done some brilliant stuff for us. It's made stars of people overnight. But what I am criticizing is it's a brutal tool, and if you're not savvy with your social media and you don't use it properly, it will eat you up. And young people today, these endorphins, get a lot of satisfaction of being liked and seeing their pictures liked on social media, and then you'll get the criticism that comes. And look at what happened to our footballers when they missed those penalties. They were brutalized by social media, and your young people will be brutalized by it unless you've got social media policies. So when you said to me, what's a savvy thing you need to do, or every salon and barber shop right now needs to have a social media policy in their business, because it's a new phenomenon, and they need to have, you know, every person in that business needs to know the answer to this question. And here's the question: do I know what is expected of me? And if every one of your people in your business, your barber shop or your salon, can't answer yes to that question, you've got an issue with your man management. And what you said, Simon, is absolutely right. We've got to have one-to-ones. I like to call them PDMs, personal development meetings. And when someone says to me, what's that, David? It's how can we work together to help you to achieve what you want to achieve in this business? How can I help you earn more money? How can I help you be more successful? How can I make you the star you want to be? Because it can happen in this brand. And if you're giving that sort of messages out to your people, hopefully they're not going to want to leave you.
Do you know what I think? you know, and this is coming from a salon owner, a business owner. I think we've always done that. I think the good businesses, the good side of the industry, we've always done that. I think the difference is now a lot of new staff or a lot of people who come into the industry, they probably don't want work full time. They probably don't want to work 40 hours. They probably don't want to work Saturdays. And coming into the industry from and I think we're all about the same sort of era. You know, that was what was expected. That was what was expected of our industry, of our staff, our employees, our colleagues. I agree with everything that everybody's just said, but there is a time where you have to make sure that, as you rightly say, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. But again, we can't pussyfoot around either. You know, there has to be limits. There has to be a line drawn in the sand where we know where we all stand.
But I'm sure, Gary, with what you do, Ben, with your franchising, and David with your business coaching, you've just said something there. You know, I'm such a military-run company, Wahl. You know, everything's like to every second. You know, no one puts anything. We have a plan for everything. So if you are having a social media campaign, even if it's just Bob's Barbers with 2 of you in there, you should have a plan of what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, what time you're going to do your stories, how are you going to do your stories, what's your backdrop like, how do your photographs look? Because it can all go school if just one person in there takes a photograph of him, like me and Gaz. He's been on Barbers' Arms, he's had 25 Stellas, and he's got something out that he shouldn't have out, pretending he's an elephant. It can fuck the job up completely. So, you know, I think that's my next question leading on though from that. And it's not a question I had written down, but I want to ask you first, Ben. So let's just say then that what David's just said there, and for everybody who listens tonight and through the week, and we have some big hitters listening in to the show. And if you were working in the salon then for the next couple of weeks, how would you equip yourself? What would you kind of like, what would you be? I know it's what would you do as an individual? How would you set yourself separate to, you know, the next person that's working outside of you? What would you do different?
What would I do different? Everyone's individual, aren't they? If it was me in the salon, I want to be the very best. That's me as a person. I won't deliberately set out to be different. I simply set out to be the very best person I can be for my salon, for the team, because that's my natural state of mind. I can only be who I can be. And so if I was in the salon for the next 2 weeks, I would be the very best I could be for my customers, because my customers are what come first, for my team around me, for my receptionist, for my technician. I would do the best. If I need to pick up the brush and go sweep up, if I need to make that, I would do the very best I can do to support my team. Going beyond that, you know what? I would just want to listen to my colleagues. I think there's been so much emotional stress in the past 18 months. And I think it's that emotional stress that has forced a huge swathe of people to leave bricks and mortar barbers and salons. I just want to listen. I want to try and get to the bottom of what people are truly feeling. And parts of what Gary said resonates with me as well. We can't run our businesses, be it a freelancer, be it a barber, be it a unisex salon. We can't run on what we did 40 years ago, 20 years ago, not even 5 years ago. We've got a chance after COVID to wipe the slate clean and say, how are we going to move forward? How's my salon going to be better than it was pre-COVID? How am I going to come out of this with my team, my people, and my customers to give even more? And I'm looking for the positive, Simon. I'm always looking for the positive. There's so much negative. We can get sucked into that, but everything's got to. And David, I hear what you're saying, but I see so much positive with social media. I see so much opportunity with social media. I see so many opportunities with my people. I see the opportunity, Simon, to be better. I guess if that's my answer to yourself.
And David, if you were going back into the salon behind the chair, how would David Drew's approach be right now?
I echo what Ben's just said. It was always to be the best, and for me, that was the buzz that I used to get being in the salon. If I'm honest, I can remember. I used to love being in the salon, and I pulled, like we all did in our time, I pulled 70 and 80-hour weeks working in the salon. And you know something? It was my world. I just loved it. The buzz I got from other people, from my team, from having a client say to me, "That's the best anyone's done my hair." I used to just love that, and I wanted to hear that many, many times. And I very quickly realized that if you make people feel special and look special, feel special, they rave about you. And it's a great feeling to make people feel special. We have a unique opportunity. So I think we're in a really fantastic business. And right now, at the end of a disastrous world pandemic, and we're not out of this pandemic yet, we're opening, but the pandemic is still there. Let's not forget that, guys. It's not over. We're still in a pandemic. We've got an opportunity, unlike ever before, because of the state of the high street. Actually, I think barbershops, hair salons, nail bars, beauty salons are actually why people visit the high street now. They take us off the high street. The high streets, the towns will close. We are now taking over the high street. So what Ben said, social media is an animal for promoting your business and marketing, fantastic. But because it's a relatively new discipline, I don't think there's a level playing field on it. And you've got to understand it. And if you don't understand it, I'm hearing stories of team members being encouraged to have their own social media page in the brand. And I think that's a little bit dangerous, if I'm honest. I want to know what my team members are doing for my brand, not for themselves. And I want us all working together. And one thing I'm a great believer in is, do we offer a service encounter, or should we be offering a service experience? And it's all about the experience. It's all about, and actually, do you know what? A lot of it I'm finding now is going back to basics, going back to the good old fashioned basics, because computers, email, social media, digital has created a divide. Ring a client up and say, "I miss you. I haven't seen you for a while. What's going on?" That will make the client go, "Wow, David's just phoned me. He's noticed I haven't been in." You know, we're too used to sending text messages and SMSs and emails to our clients. We've lost that connection. I'm a great believer in old-fashioned miss you cards. Send miss you cards out to your clients if you haven't seen them for a while. Tell them you're missing them. Give them a reason for coming and seeing you. Spoil them rotten. And
do you know what, David? I think
come out there.
I think that personal service is that, if that's what you're getting to, that individual personal service is what we're missing in a lot of businesses at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it goes a long way. Just quickly before we carry on, what are you drinking tonight, guys? Anyway, we're in a pub, so what are you drinking?
Left. Belgium lager. Good.
We had that on a few weeks ago. Nice.
It's very smooth. Quite strong.
Timothy Taylor Landlord.
Oh, one of my favourites that is as well. Ben,
we're on a nice Peroni Reserva.
Nice Peroni.
Right, so
well, Ben's going to be very jealous of that one.
I'm just going to tell you, our second stout of the evening is going to be a Diceman Stout by Witchwood. This is only a 5% one. It's quite nice as well. You'd love this, Simon.
I wouldn't love it.
Isn't it great, guys, though? Isn't it great that we've now got all these craft beers? Erupted. You know, that's another change. We're going back to this old-fashioned craft beers. You know, we're going to go back to, trust me, supermarkets are struggling. We're going to go back to the old-fashioned greengrocer on the high street. We're going to go back to the old-fashioned baker. Independent traders are our future, and we are leading it in the hair and barber world, and I'm very proud of that. We should hold our heads up. And, you know, we need to revise our business models, because all these kids that want to go out there and go freelance, and if that's their dream, I applaud them. Well done, guys. You're going on your own. But we should be able to make their journey in our businesses so much better than going out on their own. And
great.
That's up to us to do that.
Give them a reason to stay in our shop.
Do you know, though, when you're traveling about sometimes, and if you come off a motorway and you're driving, if you do see like a nice artisan bakery or coffee bar or a really cool butcher's, you want to pull up and have a look. So these are things that when we were growing up, you always went to a local butcher or greengrocer. But now I think you're right there, David. Before we move on to the next one, so both of you now, Ben, first of all, new position within the industry. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And what are you going to do? What are you going to do in this role?
What am I going to do in this role? If I have one thing I would love to achieve is to, you look at the great associations in different industries, one thing they all have in common, a united voice we can't solve all the ills. I won't even pretend to try but on certain core issues, training standards, we've got to have looking up to increase the standards, to create a framework that means that standards are moving upwards, and that therefore we create a level playing field in standards. So I would love to unite the disparate voices in our industry and I do believe, because hairdressing, quite cool space. We've got all these different bodies that come up, and they're trying to achieve what seems different things. But I truly believe we all actually have the very same basic beliefs.
So while you're watching, guys, you guys can't see it on the screen now, but on your screens, watching at home as well, and throughout the week, you'll be able to see Ben and David's social media sites and how to get in contact with them. If you want to get involved in the Hairdressing Council, as just said it, let's all unite together. A bigger voice together, guys, in this industry to make the standards better. It's going to be better for everybody to get behind it. Instead of some mavericks having this group here and this group here, it's fucking shit. Everybody stick together, move forward together. We'll get things done better together. Team together, everybody achieves more. It's quite a simple process.
What you guys have done in the Barber's Arm is evidence. What has COVID done? It's accentuated the need to be one voice. Be it Barbers, be it Salons United. These voices have come together. They've found a way to talk, and that's what you've done. And I love it. And we've got to build on that. We've got to.
And David, in your position, what are you going to bring?
Well, support Ben in everything he does as his vice chair. And, I became a state registered hairdresser in 1992, 30 years ago now. I saw then a need for professionalizing what is inherently a craft. And I wanted it to become a profession. I wanted standards and I wanted a level playing field in our standards. And I think we've done a great job in the last 30 years of our training standards and our technical standards. I think the industry has moved on largely in a very positive way, but we are very fragmented and we know it and we look inwards too much. And I hear a lot of people claiming that they're doing great things for our industry and talking to government. The Hair and Barber Council is the only mandatory body with an official act of parliament. This is the only conduit that government will recognise. So all these other groups that keep going out there thinking they're going to change the world, you're not. And come and join us and work with us, work with Ben and myself at the Hair and Barber Council. Let's have one voice. We started an initiative very recently, you might have seen it on social media, called The Collective and the Hair and Barber Collective. And what we say there is not about people, it's not about individuals, it's about a collective, one momentum, one voice with an agreed message, sending a clear message to government. And we've got our own APPG, which stands for All Party Parliamentary Group. That was funded and started by the Hair and Barber Council. And we've got these MPs who want to represent our sector. And we've got some big hitters in government who are very interested. And what they're saying is, this Act of Parliament, if we can get it through the 1964 Hairdressers Registration Act and have, for want of a better word, a license to practice, this will give us the mandate and the ability to solve a lot of the issues that everyone keeps banging on about, whether it be training issues, standards issues, and a lot of the issues that have come to light through the last 18 months. If we'd had this Act of Parliament in place, I believe we would have dealt with it a lot more effectively.
Do you know what, as well, David? The thing is, I think it's really important to say as well, there's a lot of people out there that will say about it, talk about it, but this is a non-profit organisation. Nobody gets paid, other than the registrar, obviously. But all of us who put our time in there and effort over all the years that we've ever been involved with the Hair and Barber Council, none of us get a penny, do we? We don't actually get paid. And this has been a big thing over the years that, it's another making racket, they're lining somebody else. It is nothing like that. We do it for the good of the industry. I know when people say you're doing something for nothing, what's in it for you? What's in it for us is bringing everybody together. And I think that's really important to just get that out there, because so many people think there's an ulterior motive for this as well.
Gary, and I love you for saying that, because I don't know if you're aware, but Gary is chair of our Barber Council on the Hair and Barber Council. So Gary, we work together, and the hours, and Ben will know this, you know, travel expenses. It takes me 2 hours each way on a train. I spend 4 hours a day on a train to go to these meetings, let alone the time the meeting takes. It is purely because I love my industry. I know Ben loves it. I know Gary likes it. Simon, I know you love it. I know you give a hell of a lot to the industry as well in your role. But I've never even thought about the money side of it. You know, for me, if the industry is successful, the money will come to all of us.
Yeah.
And every pound of registration that is received, and it is £1 a week, guys. It's about £52 a year to be a state registered barber professional or a hair professional. That goes back into the industry. You know, so a penny out of it.
If I had a magic wand, and I'll say to you first, Ben, and you were going to be the PM for one day, what one change would you make to this industry? First to you, Ben. You've got one wish to change something that you could implement in the hair and barbering industry. What would it be?
Straight away, create a professional association, as David described, and that everyone has to have a license to practice. And we have a basic framework. So we get rid of the cowboys. We get rid of those people that are just taking the piss out of the quality barbers, the quality hairdressers, and we then have the means to start to enforce that and chase it, because the government can't do it. They've got too many other things to do. So give us, enshrine that in law. Give the hairdressing and barbers the ability to create a level playing field for all in the eyes of the law. Make it legal.
And David, you're the PM for one day. You've got one wish to implement on this industry. What would it be?
I want to look after the youngsters who come into our industry more than ever before. So I would be increasing minimum rates of pay for the young, because I think it's been appalling. You know, we've brought to our door far too often. We've treated the young like slaves in our industry. I was one of them in the 70s. I'm glad to say we don't treat people as badly as I was treated. Let me tell you, you know, I've been on the floor on my knees cleaning the skirting boards with a toothbrush because they thought it was funny. That was my initiation in the salon in the 70s, you know, and everyone laughing. Oh, look at him, he's cleaning. He thinks we're serious when we told him to clean the skirting boards with a toothbrush. You know, guys, we need to look after the young. And one thing that worries me about the way our industry is going right now is with so many people, and for the first time ever, we've got a larger percentage of people who are independent than working in a brand. Who's going to train the people of tomorrow? Who's going to bring the people of tomorrow on? The people like us who were brought up through fantastic training programs within great businesses like Francesco Group, like Sassoons, like Tony and Guy, like, you know, like some of the really great businesses that are out there. I'm worried about, so I would want to enhance the training standards, and I'd want to look after the young better, because quite frankly, paying people a decent wage should not be an inhibitor to making your business successful. It should actually be a generator to success.
You've both failed on that one miserably. The phone lines are ringing off the lines here. The messages flowing in. What the fuck? What about VAT cancelling it for all hairdressers and barbers? You missed the important thing there, guys. You failed on question number one. Get rid of them. I'm only joking.
Do you know what? Then? I think from what's happened since COVID, you know, we've all got our troubles. We've got our crosses to bear. From a training point of view and from an apprentice point of view, we're as busy as ever. You know, the apprenticeships standard at the moment, I think, is probably the best we've had in a long, long time. I think it's fit for purpose. It's giving us great hairdressers and barbers. The main thing is, I think, for all of us is the uncertainty that we're not actually in control of the businesses at the moment. I mean, we've still got that little bit of uncertainty that we could be closed down at any time. As soon as that's gone, I think then everybody, you know, a bit of the consumer confidence will come back as well. But I think what you brought up tonight is absolutely fantastic. I think from the Hair and Barber Council, what I'd like to see is let everybody know that we're not there to try and close everybody down or try and enforce something on them that they don't want to. What we're trying to do is raise this, and then this word is this statement is used so much, but we're trying to raise the standard of the industry and have the industry be taken seriously by, career officers in schools, people to take the actual trade serious and how much we offer and contribute to the GDP. I mean, we had the financial impact report that we did 2 years ago, and they were, ministers were astounded what we actually put into the coffers of government. And I think it's really, really important that we don't just cut a little bit of hair. We are the high street leaders. It's a destination for people to go to as well. So we thank you very much for giving your views on that. We've got about 5 minutes, I think, left.
I've got one more important question, though, that I want to ask them both, which is a little bit of a weird one. David, I'll ask you first, and it's the same question to you, Ben. If you could be one person out of the industry, our industry, for one day, who would it be and why?
Wow.
Wow. Who's my hair hero right now? I've got too many.
We only got one. Who would it be and why for one day?
Wow, that's a big question. I'm going blank because all my hair heroes, I've got too many. I can't be just one person. I've got too many that I admire. I'll tell you what, I think this guy's been a genius in our industry, Anthony Mascolo, because he's done it all. He's done everything from photography to creative hair, to building an amazing brand, to building an amazing product line, and having that influence and that ability, I think, to bring a huge following he's got around the world. I think if I could be a day and make a difference, it would be to be Anthony, because I think he's underestimated what he's contributed to our global success as an industry.
This is not we've not primed to say that Anthony Mascolo will be one of our guests on the 3rd of September, right here on Barber's Arms.
Guy's a genius.
Ben, who would you like to be for one day and why?
Because my background isn't on the creative side, I'm going to lean to the creative side as well. I would like to know what it is to be a creative genius. It's not something that comes natural to me. And you go to shows, you see a lot. And one of the people who really influenced me very early on, and I saw his work, and I just thought, this guy's out there, Angelo Seminara.
Yeah.
And when the first time I saw his work, there's just something that was out there. There was something about it, and I just thought I would love to understand the processes that leads to, be it the creativity in barbering, the creativity. But that was an individual that I admired the work, and I would love to have understood the creative processes in that creation, the look that was presented.
Yeah. Such an humble guy as well. He's just so unassuming.
Never met him. I'd love to meet him, Simon.
He's just a great guy.
Do you know what? It's I think it's when you put on the spot like that as well. It's really, really hard, isn't it?
That was a hard one.
And I'm glad.
That's where Gossett's today in Stoke-on-Trent, and he walks around thinking he's me. I prime him all week, give him some of my jokes. He has a lot of motivation off me, tell him what to say and how to do it. So he lives in my shoes all week.
I'm just going to come back if I can. I just want to come back on one slight thing. And Simon, you kind of said we missed the trick with the VAT. I just want to say, let's be realistic, because only a third of our industry actually pays VAT. 70% of our industry
David,
even registered for VAT. So, and actually, do you know something? I always find it really funny when I coach salons. I coach a lot of businesses, and I know some who deliberately keep their turnover below 85,000. They deliberately run their businesses and hold it back because they're worried about the VAT. And when I go through the numbers with them and explain it, and I actually say the worst you'll ever be is that, they actually go, is that it?
Well,
never had that conversation with their accountant.
David, we've been on
an enabler. It's not a prohibitor. It's an enabler to success.
We've been on a real searching thing this week at Wahl. We Salon International's coming up. We have a really big stand there, and we have a lot of staff there, 30 odd staff, and we've protected them so well over these last 18 months that if we go to Salon, it's how we're going to change the standard that around. But one of the issues is the cash issue, taking cash. So we're saying we're probably going to be cashless. It's all going to be card. And then I sat in the meeting, I'm like, I'm slightly worried because I just know this industry. They put money away to once and they'll come to spend. And that's one of the issues that you have. And, you know, I think for me, it's like we'd like to say to HJ and PB, make the whole show cashless to protect people handling cash. So everybody's got to pay on card. So no one's got an advantage. They're not going to come to us and think, well, they're not going to spend 700 quid on 2 or 3 clippers and a trimmer. Well, you're not taking cash, so I'm going to go to that stand and do it because they're taking cash. If we're all doing the same, which is what you're saying, Ben, as well, it's just a united thing. If we all stick together sometimes on these things, it would be better. But there is a danger because of the people with cash. That's still going to be about, unfortunately.
So and Gary, you know, and going around your point, David, hairdressing salons, barbers, our biggest expenditure is our wages. It's our biggest investment. It's our biggest expenditure. That is that. But I would love to see the government recognise that we employ people. We don't employ robots. We don't employ this. We employ people. Help us maybe with PAYE. Help us with employers NI. Help us put some coffers back into the wage percentages that we all carry, because they've crept up and they're an investment and they're right. But reduce a bit of the tax so we can employ more people. We can pay our people more. We can retain our people better. We can train our people better, because we are, by our very essence, our business is our wages. I would prefer to see it given back through PAYE, employers NI. So,
do you know what as well? I think from an employer point of view is we sell ourselves short as well, don't we? As an industry generally, because we pay our staff, our overheads and everything else are what they are. But at the same time, if our you know, our costs were less, they're not going to ever be. But if through COVID especially, you know, we need to increase our prices as well. So it's well across, and that's collectively across the industry, not just one at the end of the street and one at the bottom of the street. It's got to be collective and make ourselves valued. That's
for our viewers that's watching tonight as well, guys, you'll see the social medias for both Ben and David online as well. Simon Shaw Wahl, Gaz is the British Barber, and Barbers_arms. Our website is thebarbersarms.co.uk. And if you want to email us and get one of Gary's medium extra t-shirts, then you can also do that at Barbersarms at the British Barber. Guys, we're going to finish off with, if you're at Salon International this year, and I think this is a big thing from brands like us, and in my position, you know, I have this saying, and a lot of people internally at Wahl know it, but I do it on stage as well. We're global, not local. But I've been local, not global. And one thing that's really helped me is I've connected so much more with barbers in this UK, and this last 18 months has been a godsend. So the positives for me have been unbelievable. I've done these team talks and everything. So I'm wanting to say to you guys as well, at Salon International, we have a fantastic stage. We're a fantastic production team. You know, if the Barber Council, Hairdressing Council want to come on stage and do a talk or an interview on the Wahl stage at Salon, I'd love to host you on that as well. So if David, I know he'll be there, and I know Ben's going to be at Salon. If you guys are watching tonight and you're listening, get in contact, but hopefully you can see him at Salon International as well, to ask him any of your questions up close and personal as well. I've got producers shouting at the screen, Gary. We've gone 8 minutes over. Jonathan Andrews is sat in the car park on his own.
Come on, Johnny. Get him on. Get Jonathan on. We love Jonathan.
Flicking his hair, putting his ponytail in. But
guys, can I just say, you've got a great guy in this, Trevor, who's organised this in the background. What a man he is. I'm not very good with tech, and he's put my mind. So thank you, Trevor. And
thank you, Trevor.
And to Gary for having me.
And I just want to leave you with one saying that's touched on everything that we've been saying tonight. And it's my mantra, and you heard it here first. Different. Everyone worries about trying to be different today. Different is not better. Better. Being better is always different. And just anyone out there who's young, aspiring, wants to get to the top, focus on being the best. Just do what you do and do it better than anybody else. That makes it different.
Fantastic. Guys, pleasure to have you both on. I could carry on talking to you for hours, but make sure you share this on your social medias.
And please, hashtag get registered. Follow the Barber Council. Hashtag get registered. Let's have an influx of barbers signing up and becoming SRBs, state registered barbers. And let's push this forward together. Come on, guys. We can do it.
Well done, David. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on, guys. It's been a pleasure. And
good night, God bless.
Cheers.
See you later.
Cheers.
See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Great, guys.
Well, you know, we always say we could do with another half an hour. People like that who are inspirational, really good at the job. I mean, humble as well. He really, really makes the job easy. But I mean, these two guys have been around in the industry for so long. I've got so many contacts, so much expertise and experience as well. I mean, you know, it goes without saying. I know we had the little bio at the beginning, but I think both guys at the beginning were being very humble. Francesco Group, you know, huge company. I'm very proud to say we work with them. And Francesco, we'd love to work with you, sir. We'll come and have a little coffee and talk barbering. But from you know, Ben's side of things, business-wise, run a very successful business, and then come back into being the chair of the Hair and Barber Council as well. But David, wealth of information, been past president of the fellowship, past president of the hair charity, which we haven't even touched on. It's something that we wanted to talk about, and we didn't even touch on it, mate, did we, as well? So
I think it's like out though, you know, you can just go through a night, like when you meet somebody in a bar and you think, I've got loads to talk to you about, you just end up talking about whatever's on topic. Great guests though, really good both of them. I can't wait to see them both in person. Barber's Arms t-shirt, making their preview tonight as well again. The new
Barber's Arms.
They are the same colour, to be fair. It must be our lightings here. We've got the nice Wahl logo in here, and BBA, our two main associate sponsors. And talking about sponsors and companies, our next guest has took a new role on with a company that I thought had kind of like gone behind the wayside a little bit. Massive in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and then seemed to not disappear, but weren't at the forefront of exhibitions and stuff. But I think this young man's trying to reignite that with his skills and his artistic integrity to fetch it back. I worked on a photo shoot with the fellowship a few weeks ago, and it's great, guys. He's heading up the Project Men's project with the fellowship, and he's also he is in a celebrity hairdresser as well, and he was telling me about his work on League of Their Own.
Okay, then now you've missed another beer, and now I'm going to have to do the really strong one on my own as well.
I'm going to have another Peroni.
So this one is, and you can get all these beers in leading wholesalers. This is a lovely looking beer. It's only a little one. I don't know if you can see that. It's only as big as my head. It's a very short beer. This is a Noah. Now, the reason I've had this one third is because this is the strongest of the quartet. This is 11%, this one. And I don't know if you can see as
a bottle of wine.
Well, as you can see as you drop it in here, you know I said they're usually the thickest and strongest of beers.
Oh,
this one's gone in like treacle. So I'm not sure what this is going to be tasting like. But this is a Dutch beer. It's 11%. It's I'm going to have to read this out because it's a Noah Pecan Mud Cake Stout, brewed by two guys. One's a brewer and one's an artist. And the reason being, you can see the collaboration. You know, it's very simple branding. They've just got what they need on the actual bottle, but they do a whole brand, and this is from the Netherlands. This is a Dutch beer, and it's 11. This is 11%. So this is the one. I've got it in my Barber's Arms glass, a lovely glass that we were sent, and so I'm going to make you, when we're next together, I'm going to bring one of these with me.
I have to say, though, the reserve I'm drinking is 6.6. So that's quite strong as well. Right, without further ado, we're running out of time here on episode 64, all in conjunction with Wahl UK and the British Barbers Association. Without further ado, coming in at Barber's Arms, making his debut, we would like to welcome the guy who is running Project Men for the Fellowship, and he is the creative international director for Fudge, and a great guy himself, celebrity hairdresser. Let's give a warm Barber's Arm welcome to the one and only Mr. Jonathan Andrews.
Hi guys, how are we?
We're very well, thank you. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. Thank you for having me. No ponytail, Simon. I was watching.
Good. You're looking very suave. What are you drinking?
I've just got a Heineken. You can't see it. There you go.
That's nice. Everything okay? You had a good week?
Yeah, all good. All good. Working crazy as always. I heard you'd mentioned the shoot that we done, going through the pictures today with IO. So excited for everyone to see them. There's some really, really cool images, I think.
Yeah, it was a good day. I thought what was for me was really refreshing is the people that were on it, which is what it's about.
Absolutely.
I thought, they were so attentive to learn and to learn off me and you, but in particular you. I thought you led it really well, and I was glad that we were part of it. And I hope we set a stance there as a brand, how brands should be involved with the fellowship. You're not just giving money. If you can give money and also support by help and some guidance and better influence there, I think it works. I don't know what you felt, Jonathan, but I think that's the way I'd see it if I were in your position.
Absolutely. It was great for the team to obviously work with you, as coming from Wahl and the background, how synonymous you are with barbering. It was amazing for them to see firsthand. But the thing for me that I loved the most about it was a lot bigger than just a shoot, and in a lot of the ways that we'd set it out, from the clothes, photographer, the running of the day, the studio, it felt a lot more like a campaign, which, working with Project Men and working with these guys on the team is things like that, and that experience that I want to show people, because it's not something everyone ever really thinks about doing. And sometimes you're kind of just thrown into it and expected to be able to do it, and showing it firsthand and seeing what goes on behind the scenes, without you guys there would have been half of that opportunity. And that's what I was really grateful for them seeing.
Do you know what? Can I just jump in before we have any more questions? For our viewers out there, obviously, fantastic name in the industry, and you got involved in the fellowship a long time ago. But can you just tell us exactly? Everybody takes it for granted that everybody knows what we're talking about. But can you explain what Project Men is from a fellowship point of view and what your involvement is?
Of course. So the fellowship, always really tries to give back to the industry and support talent and hairdressers from loads of different backgrounds and loads of different places. And they have like the Fame team is kind of what most people know as their kind of flagship of, they had a group of people that they would push. And then they started to introduce what they call projects. And each project has a specialist field. So there's Project Color, Project X, Club Star, and some's for young hairdressers or, color specialists or people who want to be all round creative. And a couple of years ago, they introduced Project Men, which when I got asked to be a part of, I was really excited about, because I am a hairdresser and I do everything in hair, bar color, cutting and styling, men and women, I do all of that. But I've got a real passion for men's hair. It's something that really stood out for me when I was coming up in my career. I was lucky and I won a few awards when I was a little bit younger. And that kind of gave me that little bit of a leap into the next level of it, that it gave me an opportunity to experience more. I've worked with some incredible hairdressers over the years and some really talented people. So I jumped on board because I really wanted to just help other people who might be at stages of my career that I was at, that I was fortunate enough that I had people in those positions who could give me that support and guidance. that they might not have, and I hope that I can help be that to some of these guys.
So the guys you're talking about, these are guys that are picked, or they apply, or they're asked to get involved with Project Men, and you're almost mentoring these guys.
Absolutely. So in the case of this, what would happen is someone will apply to join the project. In our last application process, it's once a year. COVID paused it, and some of the guys stayed on. We were oversubscribed to the number of applicants that we could have, which was amazing for us that so many people wanted to get involved. We then kind of go through and sort of see the different levels and the talent that's available and what's out there. But for me, it's not necessarily what they can do is what I look for. It's hunger. I always look for hunger and passion in that, because, I can help guide people and we can get them the right education to develop them further. It's just they want to be in for the journey. And then when they get on and the applicants are successful, they have a year of mentoring with me. And what that entails is that I will kind of art direct the year a little bit, if that's an easier way of saying it, and sort of bring in mentors and opportunities and different things. So the shoot that we've just done with Simon and Wahl, they get days with different people. So I have to phone everyone up and annoy them and say, can you help me out and do a day for me? But we've had some amazing people so far help out. Over the last 2 projects, we've done some amazing stuff. We've worked with modeling agencies, we've done photo shoots. Hayden Cassidy has done a day, Desmond Murray, Simon, we've got Josh LaMonica. There's loads of people that are giving up their time. And the thing is, for me, is for the fellowship, it's like, we're not getting paid for this. I don't get paid for this. So it's kind of trying to help people give back that have reached that position that the guys, we all sit down at the start and I say, what is it you want to see from this year and what are you hoping to do? And then try and fill the gaps in and give them a year that celebrates that, guides them, shows them new ways of working and techniques. And then it kind of culminates at Salon International, where they go on stage and they do their first big men's show.
Brilliant.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
And this isn't a full-time course. This is, you just pick on, you set dates throughout the year, and they come from work, come to London or wherever you are. Yeah. That's a fantastic give back as well obviously you're part of the fellowship, you've been part of the fellowship for a long time. I think that's a fantastic give back. It's a great thing that
you should give back, guys. You should give a day to Project Men. They should go up to Gaz and have a shaving day with Gaz. He's amazing. He's the best in the industry at it. Okay. So if they want to learn a day's shaving with Gary, he is absolutely the best in the industry because it's so methodical, but it's also as well, it's matched to all the standards. So it's not just about learning a course. Yes, that's good, but it's also, if any of them's gaining towards any qualifications, Gaz's courses are all mapped so good towards college. So I'll volunteer. I know you're a bit tight with your time, Gaz, so I'll volunteer your time. For Project Men, I've got a day with Gary Machin. You heard it here first on Barbers.
There you go.
He tell you what, he gets me wrapped up in some things he does.
Hey, don't forget, you still owe 100 quid towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation as well. I owe 100 quid. Trev,
no,
if you're listening in Australia, you owe 200 quid.
I paid mine last Friday when we had them on.
Did you pay it straight away?
Yes.
Oh, I've not done mine, so I need to do mine. You've just put me to shame. Jonathan, quickly, Fudge title is Creative International Director, is that right?
Global Brand Ambassador.
Global Brand Ambassador, similar. But I get that all the time and it pisses me off. So when somebody says, oh, he's the world's global creative, global artistic director, Gab. Yeah. So I do apologise. I was just saying there in the build-up there, Fudge, end of 90s, beginning of 2000s, it were everywhere. You saw them at Salon, they had big stands there. It did slightly then just go for a couple of years where it were about, but you didn't hear about it. And I watched you when I compared the Shabba Awards. I think you came on stage to present an award. And I remember your speech saying that you were going to fetch it back. And I like that. I like that fight and that spirit. So what are you doing at the minute with Fudge?
I remember that speech very well. I don't remember much after that night, though. I'm going to say when I did that speech,
well, we did go to the after party. We did share a taxi to the after party.
We did share a taxi. No, exactly what you were saying. You know, fudge for me, like you were saying, you know, where I started my love for hairdressing was in my uncle's salon. And he had salons in Scotland, and he was a big hairdresser up there. And one of my earliest memories of like hair products when I was going to school when I was a kid was fudge. And when I started to work with them, I sort of came in to do a bit of consulting, and I said the same as what you've said. You know, I remember this brand when it was something massive, and everyone knew what it was. And unfortunately, around that time, I sort of had been working with other brands, and when I actually got to using the products, I thought there's actually such an amazing range here, and it was very different from what I've been using. So I thought I'd really like to take a chance with this, and we got talking, and I was working on a couple of things. I do a mini series called In the Chair, and unfortunately Fudge made that happen, and they backed me for that. And at that time we restaged the products. I started working in product development with them, and we've kind of got it back to being a point where it's amazing products. It's still really cost effective, it's accessible for people, but we're delivering really high quality things. And when I got the opportunity to step on and start working in the kind of creative direction of it, and where we were taking it, heading up their campaigns and their education, it was just really exciting to kind of be a bit more hands-on. You know, a lot of hairdressers will work with a lot of different brands, and you kind of turn up and you do your day's education. You say, you know, I'm using this today and this is really nice and you should try it out, and that's your day done. But to actually go and see what goes into it from behind the scenes and work on it from start to finish, you know, from products when they send me it in a, you know, clear tube with no labels on it, no packaging, no nothing, and just say, you know, tell us what you think, and we develop that. You know, that's been a really big learning experience for me, and I think what's great about them is that, you know, we've got a motto. It's called Fudge the Rules, and that for me really exemplifies what it is we try and do. Is that we're not really scared to take risks that a lot of bigger brands kind of can't at the same time. You know, they've got so many protocols and so many levels to go through, where we're like a little family, and if we want to do something fun and exciting, we can. And that's where we're at now. We're just kind of pushing it as much as we can at the minute.
Because there's still some big iconic products within the range that I think people have used over years. I don't know about in your shop, Gus, but things like, is it Shaper and
Shaper?
I'm trying to forget the other one. Is it Destructor? There's a couple of products that Fudge did that everybody just raved about, like massive hero, iconic household name products, and it's good that you've got behind it. Am I right in saying that Unilever now behind Fudge? Is that right?
No, they are PZ Cousins.
All right,
Carex, okay. and all those, and that's the thing, you know, it's like you said, they've got so many iconic products throughout the years. And the thing that I'm really impressed about most of the team, you know, they've got an amazing marketing team. And even though the team is small in a lot of areas, everyone's top of their game, and their product development team are incredible. And it's been great to work with them, because they do bring out things that are innovations that I would never even thought of. And I think that's key to being a brand that stays relevant. You know, you all know that, you know, it's all about having that core belief and basis on what you're building the brand on, but you've still got to deliver every year. You can't just decide we're done and that's it.
You know what, Jonathan, is that the kind of thing now that inspires you? You know, I know you've done probably everything within the industry. You still work behind the chair, you do all your celebrities, you know, that kind of, is this the kind of thing that this brand development and working for a company, is that what gets your juices going now? What inspires you now? What's your thing?
I definitely think that is a massive part of what inspires me. You know, since I was young, I always wanted to work with a brand that I could actually do something with and be a bit more involved in. And that is what inspires me. I love the conceptualizing of the creative side of it, the campaigns, the shoots, the content creation. All of that side of it always ticks lots of boxes for me. You know, you said it there. I have worked in every part of this industry, and I've pretty much worked on every side of it. there's bits of it I don't like, and there's bits of it I don't enjoy because I just don't really sit into that scenario. But this for me is something that I really do enjoy, because you get the opportunity to be creative and do what I love, and have a bit more fun with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Jonathan, looking at your career, and I know we're going to speak a little bit, because I always like to say to 5 sometimes. You think you're doing all right till you sit down with 5. And I was sat with Josh Wood a few weeks ago, and I was talking about icons in the industry. And I mentioned David Beckham, and he showed me his book, and he said, "Oh, he's coming in for his hair colouring in 2 weeks." Same with you. I'm talking to you, looking through your diary last week. Yeah, can't do that day because I'm on League of Their Own on that night. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but so far, what's been the highlight of your career?
It's a tough one for me, but I'd have to say highlight was becoming global brand ambassador at Fudge. It was the biggest role in my career that I'd been entrusted with. And I would definitely say there was probably some skeptics out there that either said, "Why are you doing it?" or "That's a bit too big." But, make it, I'm one of those people that I will throw myself into any situation, because I'll have enough belief in myself that I can make it work, and I'm not scared of the downside of it. And I knew that it was going to be successful immediately. So for me, it was a big achievement doing that, because I knew it was going to work out, and I knew that we were going to do something really special. So I would probably say that.
It wouldn't be a photo shoot in the snow, would it? We've got a photograph here that's just somebody just sent in, which is you. So you have to thank this year's nominee for Afro Hairdresser of the Year and Image of the Year, Mr. Rick Roberts.
Yeah.
He just sent this one in of you in the snow. He's thinking that that's your highlight of your career so far, this model.
I mean, it's definitely up there with one of the best pictures of me I've ever seen. I have to give credit for that.
Well done, Rick. Thank you for that.
I worked with Rick. We used to share a room when we would go away on trips.
Nice. Are you okay? Are you all right after that?
Who was that for?
We worked with Matrix together. So we were guest artists at Matrix a few years back, and we always got stuck together.
Well, one of our viewers is asking, which was the fudge product in the tube? Spiker, was it? No, that was a Joyco product. There's a product called in a tube. Fudge product in a tube.
Matt Head,
the
toothpaste
Alison,
tube.
Yeah, Alison, you might need to abbreviate on your questions, but it's just come through from production. You're asking a question about which fudge product was in the tube. So it might be Matt Head. Yeah, I think it might be.
Possibly that.
Possibly
Matt Head
that.
Extra.
So as we move on, then taking the fudge position, when do you expect to travel from your point of view? When do you think you can take the global position forward? Have you had any inclinations yet?
So it's been just before this happened. Just before COVID happened, I'd literally we did like a European tour for 2 weeks, and then it was like, you can't go anywhere anymore. So I've traveled a lot in the UK, like you said, with A League of Their Own. I did the road trip and the studio show and the VTs. We could travel for that. That was a big bonus during lockdown. TV production could carry on happening. So I was fortunate that I could kind of get back out and try and do a few things like that. And I wasn't kind of stuck in the house driving my wife mad. But I would say it's probably going to be post-September, October. I've got a show booked in Malta in December. It's probably going to be the first day.
Well, mine's going to be January, so... No,
It's looking like for the rest of the world, it's looking pretty grim, really, isn't it?
It is.
I noticed Dubai opened to Amber this week, so might be getting out to the Middle East soon. Anyway,
I'd love that.
And me, Jonathan. This is something else that's come up earlier, and we didn't have enough time to get these two guys to answer it. We're talking about training now and apprentices and young people coming into the industry. Rick was saying, young people want to get into the industry. They want instant success. I think this is a part of everyday life now. Instant coffee, food, people have delivered everything. I think within our industry as well, people don't want to put the groundwork in, especially. From your project men point of view, I know you obviously vet these guys and you want them to be hungry, but your experience generally, you know, from a day-to-day kind of thing, what's training like at the moment, or what young people at the moment, what do they want out of the industry?
I agree to a certain extent with what the question said and what Rick said there. I think, you know, we could all back this up. You know, I know when I started, I wanted instant success. I was just fortunate enough at a time when social media didn't exist and people told me where I was in life. So I didn't have the opportunity to go and you know, shout about it because someone pulled you right back down or you got found out. And, you know, I think the guys touched on it before about social media. You know, that's had a massive impact. You know, looking back at the kind of history of hairdressing, 1980s changed with how accessible phones were and mobile hairdressing became the big thing. Now it's everyone's portfolio and everyone's work is a click away. And I think that's what's making it difficult, is that people are showing that you can be successful without having education and degrees and all the other stuff, and not just in hair, in any field. You know, people are looking at 21-year-old life coaches now, which I think is the most obscene thing I've ever heard in my life. So it gives a false sense of security, and I think that's what drives people more, is that if they see people the same age or the same level doing so much more, they expect to have that. And there's not enough people saying, take your time, wait a minute, this is what happens at this stage. And you know, I was lucky with my family. Like I said at the start, Thomas and Anita kept me really grounded. I worked with Jamie Stevens, who's my brother-in-law. You know, he guided me a lot through that, and I saw him take off. And there's lots of elements of that that I think are quite difficult to get past at the moment. And I think education is still as it was. People are still trying. I think there's so much more education available now because there's so many more famous barbers and famous hairdressers with big Instagram profiles who sell out courses like that. So I think the education is still there. I just think, I don't know how valued it is to younger people now in terms of, is that the right way to go? Is actually just getting there and doing it? Is educating yourself? You know, how many people do you know that teach themselves stuff on YouTube now? You know, and that's been the case for a long time. It's difficult to take away from that because that's the world. You know, we've got my little girl, she's got an iPad, and I remember, you know, before we had them, my wife was saying, you know, she's not going to be in electronics and she's not going to be on that. I've not got a choice. In 10 years' time, everyone's going to have it. Do you know what I mean? Technology moves that quick. It's not about choices saying she can or can't have something. It's that's just the way the world is. It's not like it was before where you could do that or you could do something else. Everything's technology these days. And I think that's what's tough for youngsters, especially coming into our industry, because although we show everything quite visibly and visually with Instagram and photo shoots and all that sort of thing, the technicalities of what we do on a day-to-day basis are our hands, and that's, you can't take away from that. It's still old school techniques. It's still scissor over comb. It's still clipper work. You can't learn that on, you know, with an iPhone. And you can watch videos on YouTube, but you still have to do the physical thing. And I hope that is not something that stops the next generations coming through. And I don't think it will, because I think there's still a lot of inspiring people out there showing people how it's done and what you can achieve. You know, I heard about the careers before. You know, when I was a kid, I remember I did my work experience in my uncle's salon, and one of my teachers stopped me and said, "Are you doing your work experience in a hair salon?" I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "Why?" And I was fortunate that my family were at this level of hairdressing at the time then, and winning British Hairdressing awards. And I saw what was possible. I saw the cars he drove and the watches he had and the houses he had. I could see past that. And I think now we're starting to see people on Instagram and bigger people showcase that. I think we might get that boost of people coming in, but I just hope they're willing to put in the hours it takes to learn.
You know, well, that's what I said about the careers officer. You know, that's a big stumbling block, or a big place where we're going wrong. But you know, hopefully with people like yourself showing the way, exactly what they can get, where they can achieve, I hope we're in a good place at the time at the moment with.
No, I totally agree with you. I think like what you said there with the careers officer is, traditionally, when I was at school, you were a lawyer or you were a doctor or you were a politician or a scientist, or, there was all these things that education had the path set out for them. They don't teach hairdressing in high school. So no one knows that actually, if you do this and you do this and you do this, you might get a Ferrari one day. It doesn't work like that. They just think, if you don't do well in school, you could be a hairdresser.
Yeah,
and that's where
it was always thrown at that though, weren't it? It was always those options. Sometimes I thought if you don't do this, and that, these are the jobs that you could end up doing.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
These are the career jobs that you should be doing. Jonathan, talking about it a little bit earlier, but for people who are listening tonight and through the week as well, obviously you do celebrity hair dressing and cutting and stuff, and you work on League of Their Own. So for people, how do you get into that? And then exactly what would happen when you turn up to set? They're going to go on, they do the filming. Do you cut their hairs before? Do you just style their hairs? Are you the resident hairdresser that you're there for every episode? Just tell us a bit what happens.
It depends on what it is. For example, with the studio show, so I got into it. I started working with Jamie Redknapp, and I started cutting his hair. And then it got to a point they said he really likes his haircuts. And then I started doing shoots with him, and I started doing the campaign side of things with him. And then it came to lockdown. Was when I first started kind of getting into that, and I'd started learning men's grooming, so like men's makeup, powder, things like that, because I kind of saw a slight shift in especially working with men and male celebrities. To get to that kind of photo shoot set and the TV side of things, you had to have that kind of dual skill. And luckily, one of my assistants was a makeup artist and was learning hair, so she taught me all of her tips and tricks and helped me out, and YouTube. And I see, it's true. There you go. That's it. I've just totally undone everything I've just said. But I started doing things like that, and then League of Their Own started the road trip, and they'd had a few things, and they literally called me 2 days before, and they said, "Could you do grooming on the road trip?" And I was like, "Of course," thrown in the deep end. And they said, "We're going to send a COVID test to you now. We'll send you flight details for Friday," and that was it. And I went to Scotland with them, did the first couple of blocks. I started working with the production crew, got on really well with them. I then started working with some of the talent that were on screen then. So then I've done a few bits and pieces for Freddie Flintoff and done some Top Gear stuff. And that was it. It kind of just snowballed from that, really. And now we've just finished the studio show. So that is, go to studio. You would get, because of COVID, you're not really allowed crossover. So kind of everyone's got their own person. So this one I was kind of only focusing on hair with Jamie and Freddie. And then we had a girl we do makeup, and we kind of swap over. But they just come in. They might come in and have a haircut, come in and have a trim. Or it's just styling, really. It depends. It depends on where it is and how quick you've got. I mean, I remember being in Scotland. Look, it was Freddie, Jamie, Romesh, and Jack Whitehall with the.
Is that when they were dropped into the water?
Yes, yeah. So that one, yeah. So that was at Loch Ness. We were there, and I remember having to get them ready in the side of a Viano in a car park in like the middle of nowhere in Scotland, and that was the big experience for me. We turned up on the first day, and we drove up this like really windy trail, and the guy who was driving the car was like, we were in the Highlands in Scotland, and they were like, this is where they've just filmed a new James Bond film, and that's where he was. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. There's going to be a big trailer and all that stuff. We literally pulled up in the middle of the woods, and they got out and went, you're just going to have to do it here. And I had like 15 minutes, and I was like, oh my God, first time I've ever done like a big TV show. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. But, like I said, I like to push myself into situations I wouldn't really expect to be in, and just hope that I can swim back up to the top.
Excellent. Well, guys, you heard it first on Barber's Arms. I'm not going to speak to Kaz just yet because the 11.7 third stout is just hitting into the sides of the tash.
No.
Discoloured.
I'm just doing the fourth one. This is the one you can join me with now. This is the Guinness now. So
I'm not doing Guinness tonight. I'm sticking on Peronis. I can't mix my drinks like you. I'm not a professional drinker.
This is draft Guinness. This is the daddy of all stouts. This was born in Dublin in 1759. It's actually, and this has been more places than you, Jonathan. This is actually brewed in 50 countries, and it's sold in 120. So they sell something like 19.5 million gallons a year of this stuff. But I
think the word you're looking for next is sláinte.
Sláinte. But have you ever been Dublin, you two?
I've been once or twice, I think.
Oh,
I've actually been to the Guinness factory for a tour.
Well, I have as well. And the Guinness over there, you have to, if you're drinking Guinness over there, obviously it's the most popular one in Ireland. But when you drink Guinness over there, you order 2 pints because it takes a whole pint to actually draw down, because they do it in 2 halves, and you have to have it drawn in 2. So you order 2 straight away.
That's a great excuse to get 2 pints.
For everybody who's watching, you don't have to. You still have to drink responsible. It's not just do the gas thing. Guys, have you ever been into the Crown in Belfast when they finish the pint off on top and they do that swirl, so they put like a clover on the top of the pint? It's class. I've tried it in my mum's pub, and you cannot. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, the best pint I've ever had is in Tipperary. Down
there you go, guys. You ready? First, all you people in Tipperary, congratulations on your Guinness, and I'm sure you had a great weekend profitably when Mr. Machin was there. Jonathan, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions just for our audience to get a little bit to know a bit about you. So what's your favourite food?
Oh, steak.
Nice bit of steak.
Favorite drink? Corona.
What's your favourite music? What are you laughing at? What's your favourite music?
Oh, I couldn't pick one. I genuinely love everything.
Yeah, just what's your one piece of music you've got to have on a desert island? What's the one track you want? What's the favourite piece of music or the favourite album?
Northern Soul.
I genuinely, I couldn't. Off the top of my head now, I couldn't even pick. I'll tell you what. Today I listened to Fleetwood Mac, so I'll pick that for the fact that I listened to it today. But I genuinely listen to everything.
Okay.
From
what's your favourite destination?
Just in general. Yeah. Scotland. I'm Scottish originally, so it's home.
Bonnie.
And who would be your ideal dinner date? Who would you like to have one evening with? Past or present? There could be, you can fetch them back alive for one night, or somebody present. Who would you like to have one evening with to sit and have the candor all night with?
Celebrity?
Just one person. Celebrity, family, personal, whatever you want. Who would be your one?
Well, to be fair, I'd probably have to say my dad. He passed away at the start of the year, so I would definitely have him back for a pint, maybe a quick game of golf.
Nice one, mate. And I know you've struggled with that this year, so fair play to you, mate. I know we spoke last week about that, so you've done a really good job to do everything that you've done. Jonathan Andrews, the global ambassador for Fudge and the project men's leader for the fellowship. Great guy, great hairdresser and barber as well. But Jonathan's having his favourite food, which is a steak. He's doing all of this in his favourite place, which is Scotland. He's listening to some Fleetwood Mac in the background. He's also having his favourite drink, which is Corona. And he's doing all this with his late dad and having a fantastic time, and then ready for a game of golf just after all of this. Jonathan Andrews, episode 64, Barber's Arms. Congratulations, mate. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you probably over the weekend. If not, I'll speak to you Monday and have a look at some of them fantastic photographs you created. Well done, mate.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was a genuine honour and great to share a beer with you. So I hope you you get to finish that 4th one and you enjoy it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Jonathan, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Lovely to meet you for the first time, and hopefully we'll have a pint in person very soon.
I'm holding you to that. Maybe in Tipperary.
I'd love to. Love to.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Jonathan, he's coming to Shabba Awards with us, so we'll keep him out with us and we'll take him to the after party in our taxi.
Sounds good to me. That's even better fun. You'll try some pints in Scotland.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Cheers.
See you, pal. Wow, what an evening. How quick has this all gone tonight?
Wow. What a bollocking we're going to have after.
Why?
It's 20 to 10. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes at the minute.
That's the longest show we've done this year.
I know.
Well done to all our guests tonight. Ben Dellicompagni from the Francesco Group and the chair of the Hairdressing Council. David Drew as well from the business coach and the fellowship. David also is the vice chair of the Hairdressing Council. Thank you to you two for being on Barbers Arms, and then finishing off with our local hero, Jonathan Andrews, who is the global ambassador for Fudge, and he's a celebrity hairdresser as well. So well done to all our guests this evening, guys. I'll finish off just by saying have a great weekend, guys. Weather don't look that fantastic. There's no doom and gloom here. We are moving forward. As David Drew pointed out tonight, COVID is still about, but with 70% of adults in the UK having both vaccinations, we're looking in a pretty strong position. You try and book any hotels, guest houses in any of the seaside resorts around the UK, and everything is chock-a-block. We're going to have, I think, a really good year and a great end of the year. I feel it this week. I feel that we're getting back to some normality through all this bad pandemic, and I think that the future will look bright. Thank you for watching us tonight on episode 64. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Just before we leave you on that, our guest next week is Wallace Barlow from the USA, along with some local heroes, but Wallace is a great character. Don't forget to tune in for episode 65. We'll see you all next week, but I'll pass you over to Gary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. Well, thanks for all our guests. We've had an absolute corker of a show. Their experience has been unexceptional, but can I just say, our Stout Day that you've missed out, and you are going to have to retake because I'm going to slap you around the place telling me you can't find them. Are you going to crack your Guinness just as we finish, or no?
No, I'm going to stay on Peroni. I'm quite happy with those. They're quite potent. The 6.6.
It's
Stop
terrible.
it. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why these stouts are strong tonight, and I know they are. I've not seen you do one shot.
That's coming on the after party in a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so just to finish off, we've had our Stout Weekend. Our Stout Weekend has comprised of vocational, our chocolate and caramel, absolutely beautiful. We've come second with the Diceman, which is come from the Witchwood Brewery, which he's missed as well. So we've got the third one with our Namponio, which is Netherlands. They're just artists. He missed that one as well. And the only one he could find was the Guinness, which was the draft, which was absolutely beautiful. And Guinness, can I say, originally came from Dublin, 1759, 4.3. I think you can find it. It's synonymous around the world. Wherever you go, you always want to find an Irish bar that sells Guinness, don't you? Wherever you go. So, to all our loyal listeners and viewers, Slanjivar, we love you. He's missed it again. See you next week.
See you guys. What am I thinking about, guys? Just get it down. Stout. Them stouts.